Doesn't matter if it's Hickory High School or an entire city of Los Angeles, basketball has deep meaning. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Ram for USC, Juju Watkins. But again, the secondary players like Kiki Iriafen will be so important for UCLA. Yes, indeed, Lauren Betts. But can London Jones defend Juju Watkins like last time when she tried to and was successful sometimes? Kiki Rice, how does she shoot the ball as well? Who is the best supporting player for both of these teams tonight? And what is on the line? It's emotion through the roof. Allison Williams.
It sure is, Jason, with everything on the line in this Big Ten title rivalry game. Both head coaches very candid about coaching the emotion of this game. USC's Lindsay Gottlieb told us there has to be urgency, but not tightness. We're at our best when we play joyful and juicy. UCLA's Corey Close told us emotion can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you handle it. And last time against USC, we didn't handle it well. In fact, she said we got punked. We were outworked. We were out-toughed. Whoever handles that emotion and adversity better tonight will win this game.
Allison, that is what we're going to be watching all night long, is where is the energy? Who is using it best? And for UCLA, the last message in shoot-around, as Allison alluded to, was handle the next step properly. Paraphrasing here, right? Yes, you could have an emotional reaction, but make sure the next thing you do is the right thing.
And overall, in that last meeting, USC was the one who set the tone early. They hit first. They protected their home court. I know that this is the battle of Los Angeles, but for UCLA, it's about how they come out in setting the tone out of the gates, because both of these teams are so predominant in what they can do on the defensive end.
The Big Ten title is on the line. Both of these teams are 1 seeds right now, according to the projections from the committee. They could get together again in a Final Four, in a national title game. But for now, there is one trophy and one city at stake at historic Pauley Pavilion. USC and UCLA, here we go. Kiki Rice for UCLA. And this Bruins team, just one loss all year. They have been dominant all season long into the post. Here is Betts turning and firing. She misses. She gets a second chance. Dugalich rattled it out.
But rebounding is a huge factor. It's such a big strength of UCLA, so those second chance opportunities is something that USC needs to be very mindful of.
Oh boy. Juju Watkins has the first bucket.
And a three-point shot. We know what she did in that first quarter at USC and how she lit things up from the three-point line. A major factor in how they got their start.
38 points. The 8 blocks might have been the story of the year in college basketball. Her defense was outstanding. And here is deep position for Betts. She gives it up. Refeed very quickly. She got deeper and missed.
And that's tough defense by Marshall. You said it, though. That's going to be a key for Betts, how deep she can see it.
Kiki Iriafen. Second chance for her. That jumper is good for Rhea Marshall, and USC has a 5-0 lead.
I tell you what, you see the look on their face, the comfort and the ease they're getting into their offense, how they're being staunch on the defensive end. They look confident.
That's a miss for Rice. USC, as Allison said, was in control at the end of that game last time, and now maybe some transition for UCLA, and London Jones, a very strong shooter. It's in the high post here. Tight defense by Iriafen, who has just been fantastic this year. Dugalich is pinned, and it's a turnover.
USC is dominant on the defensive side, and that's a big reason why they're able to be fluid into their offense when they get stops. You look right here, and Iriafen just does a great job of bottling up Dugalich. Can't do much with it, the 3-second call, but overall possessions for UCLA on the offensive end have been disjointed.
USC has 10 wins by 30-plus this year. Here is Watkins. Top pull-up. Oh, this could be one of those nights. for Juju Watkins again.
She had a signature night at USC, 25 points in the first half, which included 6 threes, and she's cooking already.
Duga leads, that rattled out. Betts had it pried away by Talia von Oelhoffen, and a tie-up will go to USC. The emotion is the Trojans' way so far.
Well, you can feel it. And with the Bruins, you think about how many looks they've gotten that have bounced in and out. Some bunnies that they would normally make uncharacteristic misses. And some of that may be nerves. Some of that's the heightened emotions. And sometimes shots just don't fall. But it's about staying composed. And they're a veteran group that should be able to do that here at home.
They're shooting nearly 50% for the year as a team. 48.5%. Oelhoffen starts her move. She'll kick it out. Another jumper for Marshall. This one won't fall. Iriefen's got the rebound. Got it back, and there's 2 down low. Rhea Marshall battling down there with Iriefen.
I don't know if that was an intended pass from Iriefen, but give her assist anyway as it bounced over to Marshall. A good job. Again, the multiple effort plays that the Trojans have brought to the table early on have been critical.
It's an extension of that fourth quarter from that meeting a couple of weeks ago at Galen Center, don't you think?
Yeah, well, without a doubt, but I think overall, even in that game, you don't want to compare it too much, though it was very recent. And so that's why I think both of these teams will take from it, learn from it, but that's where the confidence comes from in USC and this team who, Juju Watkins herself, had been very admittedly about having some tough weeks, but she is locked in.
There's another miss. Janiah Barker that time. UCLA is 0 for 6. Lead pass up ahead, taken away from Iriefen. Waits for Rice into the front court. That three will not fall for Hawkins. Follow, no. Juju on the move. Juju Watkins, a Euro step. She spun it out. Boy, USC really could have a larger lead in this game right now.
Well, and you look at how USC plays, so much of what they want to do is get it in transition, that early type of offense. That comes from getting stops and getting rebounds, which they have done.
That 2 goes for Barker. The first points for UCLA. She missed the last game, but had 10 big points in the first meeting.
And Barker's going to be important. You mentioned it in going through the lineup. So we know the star power on the floor, but it is the complementary players. There's a reason these are the number 2 and number 4 teams in the country.
Juju got caught midair, got the kick out, and then picks up 3 and a foul from the wing. Von Oelhoffen drops it in.
And Von Oelhoffen is such an important piece to this team, especially when she's able to knock down 3-point shots. It's not something that she has done with great regularity and efficiency, but she will take them. She takes that confidently, and as you can see, Haka is getting underneath her landing space to give her an opportunity at the line.
That's her first 3 in the last 4 games. She came in 0 for her last 5, and Talia von Oelhoffen, whose dad, Kimo, was an NFL player for a decade and a half, has a 4-point play as Kaylee Heckel comes into the ballgame, the freshman for USC. And by the way, you saw a little while ago Clarice Akunwafo into the game as well. She is so important as a defender against Lauren Betts. She played 21 minutes in the first meeting and did not shoot the ball.
Well, and that's the part of what it means to be a team and understand roles and understand the impact you can have. Akunwafo is an important aspect of that because USC will toss multiple looks at Betts, multiple players. They'll show doubles. They'll do a lot of different things to try and make it tough for her on her catches. And you can see Akunwafo doing on this possession.
Rice. Oh, wow. Smooth.
And for Kiki Rice, seeing it go through for UCLA, like I said, they're a composed team.
Juju, a soft roll. She's got 2 more, nearly half the points for USC.
She's special.
Don't blink.
There's no other ways to say it. And when the moments are biggest, she seems to be at her best.
That is a foul on Akunwafo, her first. She had 4 in the first meeting, and it didn't matter. Okay, Juju Watkins, you say biggest moments, best plays? Here we go again.
Getting to her spots.
And Cheryl Miller and her teammates, the toast of the town. Brother Reggie wearing his own jersey of UCLA. That's a Lauren Betts jersey, by the way. It's 51, not 31. And right now, Cheryl is watching somebody who might take her scoring average record from her.
There have been some greats in this game to come through USC, and Juju Watkins has proven to be one of them already. You see the ways in which she's gotten to her spot. She's been authoritative and assertive in looking for baskets, and this is exactly what we saw in that last meeting in the first quarter, understanding, setting the tone, and how she's able to use her size, her physicality, in getting to places on the floor and reading what UCLA is throwing at her defensively, because they're going to give her some different looks with different players.
Same for Lauren Betts from USC defensively. Here is Iriafen on the defense. Parker hit the underside of the rim, and it's out of bounds to USC.
And a lot of what you're seeing, too, USC's defense is excellent, and they have been. And so it allows them to get to their offense even quicker. And for Juju and what she's been able to do, she wants to go right. We talked to Corey Close about that. Everyone knows that, but she still finds ways to manipulate the defense to get the shots that she wants.
See the edge right there, giving her the left hand. Corey Close said, if we can just make it like 30% that she goes right instead of 70%, that's good news for us. Iriafen misses the jumper, and the rebound for UCLA and the freshman Arnisalo. Big three for the Bruins is good for Gardner. She was awesome against Arkansas in November. She hit 7 of them, and that would be a game changer for the Bruins. Heckle missed the turnaround.
She's key. Gardner shooting 38% from 3 on the season. So you look at the areas of these teams and strengths and what you try to exploit, what may be key factors. And three-point shooting, no question, will be one of those. And it's a typical thing in most games, but it changes the dynamic of how UCLA plays, especially when you're forced to extend your defense, and that allows for Betts to better operate on the inside.
It's a great point. That's certainly, that type of three could affect how much post presence UCLA has later in the game. Watkins with Gardner now. Barker sizing up Iriafen, trying to tunnel through. Great defense. Oh, she scored anyway, and a foul. That's 2 on Iriafen, and UCLA charging hard.
Janiah Barker is impactful. She's a transfer from Texas A&M. She's got size, strength, and that's a pretty fadeaway over a tough defender in Kiki Iriafen. And you had mentioned the last time they played USC, she came off the bench and she just gave a solid 18 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds. She had a block, but she had a level of confidence to her, and new to this rivalry, new to what this means, but you can see that she's been very steady in her presence on the floor, and doing so again now that they have her matched up against Watkins.
She just knocked Iriafen out of the ballgame for at least a chunk of time here. That's kicked by Arnisalo.
But these are going to be interesting possessions. You see Barker, she did this before, face guarding Watkins and just kind of trying to take her out of the possession. And so what do the teammates, other players on the floor of USC do to still try and operate and run an offense, even if Watkins isn't quite as involved?
She wants it here. She's got it. Catch and shoot. And it's a bullseye. Involved, you say?
Never mind. A little pin down, get open. But that's where Watkins is so good at picking her spots.
Basically every spot has been her spot so far tonight. Double figures already. Arnisalo, deep post presence. Betts.
That's it. And that's the key for Betts. If she can get that deep of a seal and that deep of a position, doing her work before the catch, it is nearly impossible to stop.
Juju got it again. The visceral reaction by Corey Close on the sideline says it all. She's like, man, you cannot leave her that step.
You give her that type of space. The tough part is, though, it's easy to say, much harder to do, knowing she can get to her mid-range, get to the basket. She's so patient in how she reads the defense, but as you watch right here, she's going to come off that screen again. Barker goes under, and this is what UCLA did for the entirety of the first half and much of the game against Watkins, going underneath the screen, and that's all she needs is that split second of airspace to get off a shot, and when she is hitting, she is hitting. And a player like her that sees it go through, the basket feels massive.
how do you defend that when she's seeing?
Well, you got to, part of it, which, again, easier said than done, UCLA is trying to do, it's before the catch.
Downstairs, there's a 2 for Gardner. She has 5.
A really good play, out of bounds under for UCLA. Try and get some easy ones.
Reaching in, trying to affect Watkins. She gave it up. Avery Howell missed it. Rebound for Barker. And we get a foul against USC. That's number 5 already in the quarter. It's on Kennedy Smith.
And that's a give and take for USC, and really for both of these teams. But the pressure that USC, in particular Kennedy Smith, wants to put on the ball, getting in passing lanes, make sure you feel them. Sometimes that results in picking up some early fouls and giving opportunities at the line. And the interesting part is that UCLA is not a team that gets to the line a lot. They're not necessarily manufacturing a ton of points from the charity stripe. So if they're able to do so, it's just an added bonus for what is a very elite offense.
Yeah, they're only plus 45 for the year in free throw attempts against their opponents. Parker missed it. And we saw Lindsey Gottlieb, the head coach for USC, and we were talking to Corey Close and Lindsey Gottlieb the last couple of days. And Close mentioned that they had a conversation last night about a topic that was totally different. But Corey Close said it's not lost on either of us how big of a scene this is and how big of a jump this is for women's basketball from when they started, when they played, when they started coaching, and how important this night is to the sport. And it's very cool to see that level of camaraderie, and then they go battle for a title. Kennedy Smith on the duck in, missed it. Betts over the top, had her arm chopped, and she will go to the free throw line. What were you thinking when we heard Corey Close say that?
Oh, I was going to say, we're going to get into this more later in the game because it's so good now. I had chills, and it makes me emotional. And what those before me and for all of us have laid the foundation of women's sports. I think about us being on primetime hoops with women's basketball so often this season. We had the first game last year with Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, and when they were playing Ohio State, that was the first time for Fox that women's basketball was in primetime hoops. And now, like, these women are talented. They can showcase their skills in ways, and you see it, you feel it in this arena. You feel the energy, the attention, and it is a long time coming to deserve, but pay tribute and appreciation and gratitude for those, like we're talking about, the Cheryl Millers that are sitting here, Ann Myers-Drysdale, who's in the building, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie, all of those. There's a reason why all of us are sitting here so enthused about what's happening here on the floor.
This really is the toughest ticket in town as Watkins misses short. Rebound, Arnisalo. Hit ahead for Rice, punched away by Watkins. Von Oelhoffen threads it through somehow. Oh my goodness gracious, what a pass to Heckel.
Filthy, because Heckel's got the speed, and everyone on that break thought that Von Oelhoffen was going to Juju Watkins. Had the attention on the weak side of the floor. Watch this three-man run. Beautiful defense of the poke from behind, but Von Oelhoffen holds it long enough, and Heckel just sliding right underneath. It's a great run, great push. We're going to say it over and over again. Almost a quarter of the scoring of USC has come from Daniels.
That was a Jaden Daniels-like pass.
He's probably impressed with tossing a teammate open because he does plenty of that.
I think
he was at the he's here often.
He is. He and Sudeikis, I feel like, have season tickets to both sides of town. Jaden Daniels, I think, is number one most excited about that pass. Number two, excited about the possibility of Deebo Samuel, as we heard a couple hours before the game. Juju's feeling it. That's front iron, and the rebound for UCLA. Credit the Bruins for hanging around here.
They've got to feel very good about the fact that they have not played their best basketball. They've missed shots they would normally make.
To the leach. Too strong. Rebound wrestled down by Von Oelhoffen.
And you're still looking at a two-possession game. Another
tough pass. It's wiped away by Rice. Don't go breaking her heart, Kiki.
Look at this anticipation. Excellent job, Kiki Rice coming over for the block. Both these teams like to throw some block parties. Kiki Rice a part of that off that possession, and it's just good job getting back in that transition defense and identifying early, because USC will find players with their leak outs and with their runs.
Tipped by Dugalich out of bounds. Worth mentioning, by the way, Sarah, at a minute left in the first quarter, Kiki Iriafen 2 fouls, Kennedy Smith 2 fouls for USC.
And that becomes important, but overall on the floor, that's why USC has been so impressive, because of the young players, the freshmen that they have, despite Kennedy Smith being one of those, but have relied upon, that have been so steady on the floor.
They showed the double. There it is. Watkins has to hook a pass out of it, and still 12 to shoot for Von Oelhoffen. On the drive, a long step. She missed it short. Rebound, UCLA. Rice tiptoeing the sideline. Kiki Rice full of energy. Dugalich knocks it down.
You know it was only a matter of time, and Dugalich is a player that can open up the floor with her deep shooting. That's a big-time knockdown as they're heading here and closing out this first quarter.
This place has been wired all night long, and it is up for grabs.
It's a little hot in here, Jay.
It's getting louder somehow. Watkins met by Barker. She'll back off now. Rice has her. Watkins, here comes Barker. Watkins gave it up. Rhea Marshall, UCLA creates a shot clock violation with tag team defense. That is a whale of a defensive possession by UCLA.
They are throwing bodies and traffic at Juju Watkins, and despite all of that, she's still been able to put up big numbers here in this first quarter. 0.5 on the clock because of the shot clock violation, but yeah, UCLA knows that they're not going to be able to single cover
a shot clock violation.
Juju.
However, we are going to the monitor
to
note the time. It is possible that there was a timing error.
So they might have a little extra time is what we're hearing there. So 23-20, this was 15-4 USC. It's a 16-8 run. Let's watch here and see how much should be remaining.
1.9,
yeah.
2.
Yeah, totally with you on that. That completely changes what UCLA can do.
It does. But nonetheless, to your point of UCLA just staying patient through this one, missing some shots they would normally make, some good play and good push by USC, and overall to still, at this point, whatever it becomes, but a 3-point game. You got to feel solid about that here at home with the crowd behind you. Man, the crowd's jumping.
It has not been quiet once. Sarah, when we walked in right next to Leslie Jones. Right there, it was about 150 people deep behind the
I thought the entourage was for us.
You did. It was definitely not.
Pictures, autographs, and Jason Benetti.
After review, the clock has been adjusted to 1.1.
Oh, 1.1. We don't want to lose even a second on this game. So, like, we feel cheated of 0.8 seconds of what's going to be a great college basketball game here. All right, 1.1, one dribble, shoot, or catch and shoot?
Catch and shoot.
If you're USC, do you get up on the ball here?
Yeah, you want to make sure, though, that they don't get anything over the top, which is what they're looking for.
That's what they're trying to do. Barker, the catch, she's got a good look. Well, if the next 3 quarters are like this first quarter, yeah, you don't need your remote.
Big Ten title on the line, Los Angeles bragging rights on the line, and all the stars are out tonight, and they have been popping early. USC 3-point lead here. Some primetime hoops.
Yeah, Jason, UCLA head coach Corey Close told us whichever team could handle the emotion and adversity in this game would have the edge, and the Bruins showing that ability here early. The mental side of the game, a huge point of emphasis for the Bruins. They call it mind gym. They brought in multiple sports psychologists through the years, but lately assistant coach Tasha Brown has taken over that role. And while the message is always evolving, it revolves around 3 pillars: self-image, self-awareness, and self-talk. Today, the big message was team glory. How can we add and multiply what others around us are doing? Now, early on in that first quarter, they were telling the team, you have to reset and refocus, and the Bruins able to do just that to get this game within 3.
Allison, I mean, it's exactly as they kind of drew it up and shoot around. You're going to have to take a punch at some point today, and they did right out of the gate, and UCLA has seen that work really pay off. Kennedy Smith back in with 2 fouls defending Rice. Got to be careful. Rice got into a thicket of defensive players. She gave it up. Hawkins, too short. Rebound, out of bounds to USC.
And those are the shots, though, you got to make sure don't mentally wear on you, or that you continue to operate in the same ways which you are, because UCLA has missed shots that have created quality ones and close ones to the basket that just have not gone through. But the mental part of it is huge. That's why you give these players so much credit for the understanding of that and how to best use that and channel that to their advantage.
See what USC does without Juju Watkins, and the answer is a 3 from Kennedy Smith.
Look, they're confident. They have got a feel about them, a moxie about them, and how they play, how they've shown up, and it matters.
Smith in the passing lane. Picks it off. Iriafen filling the lane for 2, and it's a 5-0 run out of the gate in the second quarter with Watkins on the bench.
Defense to offense, 8 points off turnovers now for USC.
They average 20 forced turnovers per game. If that's Iriafen, that's her 3rd.
That's her 3rd, so that's a tough one, but this is a tough steal here by Kennedy Smith. Shoots the gap in the passing lanes, then maintains control, finding Iriafen on the run. It is a beautiful play that you see typical of how the Trojans want to navigate through that defensive side to get them some early offense. But that's big to have Kiki Iriafen with 3 fouls at this point of the game. You know how important she is to this group on both sides.
I mean, when she decided to transfer, she got on the phone with Juju Watkins to make sure it was the right fit for both of them. They are 2 peas in a pod, really. And we get a foul on the floor against USC. Juju doesn't love it, but for Kiki Iriafen, 4 of her last 8 games, 20-plus points. She's an important connector on the defensive end as well. How long
hugely
can she sit?
At this point, you got to kind of see what the score looks like. You at least sitting here with a lead and some breathing room to make sure you get into that second half. Because you think about Iriafen in the last meeting, she struggled early on, but was critical in the 4th quarter, coming up with 9 points. And so it was Juju carrying it early. Juju really carrying it from start to finish.
Yeah.
But you need Iriafen and her presence, her experience, and what she brings to the table if you're trying to close this one out. And you got to think about that big picture.
The lead is 8 for USC. They get down low again. That won't fall for Akunwafo, but it's pried away by Howell. Got all the way downstairs and threw it into the backcourt. It's a USC turnover eventually. Lindsey Gottlieb, year number 4. USC, a 1 seed last year, trying to make it back-to-back years with a 1 seed. They got bounced last year, just shy of the Final Four. UCLA has never been to a Final Four in the current state of NCAA women's basketball. They did win a title back in 1978 in the AIAW days behind Ann Myers-Drysdale, among others, who we saw earlier tonight. Rice, step back. Tough shot. Watkins on the gas pedal. Look out. She'll go to the free throw line. 8 times this year, Sarah, Juju Watkins has taken at least 10 free throws in a game.
She's tall, she's strong, she knows how to create contact, and you watch her just coming right into the body of Kiki Rice. There are so many things we talk about when it comes to Juju Watkins, and that includes both ends of the floor. It's not just about the scorer she is, it's how she continues to grow as a facilitator. You can go back to those 8 blocks she had against UCLA in the win, but it's her ability to score at all 3 levels and know how to get to spots without getting sped up in the reads of the defense. And I think that's in some ways the biggest growth from her freshman year to her sophomore year. She has seen every defensive coverage thrown at her, and every game plan is against her, and how she continues to find ways to still put up those numbers. And I think sometimes that may have contributed to the little bit of a down stretch or uncharacteristic stretch we saw from her through the mid part of the season. But now I think that's where this chess match comes in with Corey Close, with UCLA, how they continue to try and make things really tough for Watkins, and hopefully that will mitigate some of the looks that USC is getting on the offensive side.
Betts is deep here against Okunwafo. She gave it up. There's a refeed of the post again. Okunwafo, hello, Clarice.
Man, she's tough. Speaking of size and strength, and not often do you see that up against Lauren Betts. Normally can have her way, but what they want her to do is put it on the floor.
That's a nice out-of-bounds play for Jaquez and UCLA.
Not the first time we've said that about the Bruins. They do a very good job in their execution of cutting, and sometimes the other players attract so much gravity that it opens up those cuts.
Juju twice thought about a shot. Instead, gave it up for Smith, who misses. The Jaquez legacy continues at UCLA. Here is Betts against Okunwafo. Oh, a little stepper. There's Jaquez again.
Lauren Betts knowing how to pass out of the double, nearly triple team, and what a cut by Jaquez.
Rebound, foul against Gardner.
Those are the things that make UCLA special. When Betts sees 2-3 players on her, everyone, defense collapses. Look at, all eyes are on her. Jaquez with the cut from the weak side. And I think that type of movement is what we haven't seen enough of from the Bruins. They're trying to space things out, yes, and look for three-point shots, but they've got so many great slashers that can cut off the ball.
Jaquez, who grew up wanting to play for UCLA, couldn't have even imagined a game like this, right? For a title on the line in this city, and that is somehow going to go down for Kennedy Smith. What in the world? All we were missing was the trapeze. This game has been wild. The atmosphere has been absolutely volatile in the best way. Betts is deep, knocked away by Okunwafo. She is staunch down there. What big minutes she's played in this series. A screen from Okunwafo. Von Oelhoffen knocks it down. That was 94 feet of outside of the box score brilliance from Okunwafo.
Getting after on the defensive end and then doing the little things offensively to free up her teammates. USC's rolling.
Hollywood this evening.
We don't even have, we got to get to the game. We don't even have time to show. So many of the rest of the stars out here to watch. A star here in Juju Watkins, and the performance that USC has put on has been really impressive here at Pauley Pavilion on the road, understanding the magnitude of this game. Really strong starts. First quarter 13-2 beginning, second quarter 11-4 start, and that's been a part of how they've understood how to punch first. And so a big test will be just the resiliency of the Bruins, which we've seen from them. There's a reason they are number 2 in the country and only have 1 loss so far this season, but a big part of it is just maintaining their composure.
Rhea Marshall tangled down low with Betts, denied her the ball. Here's London Jones, who hasn't taken a shot from 3 yet. She lost it on the way through and picked up by Jaquez. Betts, didn't take the shot, snapped it wide to the corner instead. A miss for Jones. Betts clears the rebound, and a reset for UCLA. Surprising, Lauren Betts didn't take that shot.
I think she saw Juju Watkins coming over, and Watkins had a couple blocks on her in this last meeting.
Betts is deep again. She scores.
And that's exactly what UCLA needs. And Lauren Betts is strong underneath, but it's that deep positioning that makes such a difference.
Oh, no dice. Rebound for Arnisalo. On the hit ahead for Betts, a little too much. Winner gets the Big Ten title outright. Winner gets the entire city outright. USC could get a sweep of the series this year.
It's a lot on the line, and it matters. Those things matter.
Catch Kennedy Smith, no.
Jay, on top of the fact, like, you could feel how special it is with so many LA-born players here on the floor.
Including Watkins, there's Rice on the drive. That's the follow, and she is fouled. Oh, no, they're going to say travel. Oh, my word. I mean.
That's a tough call.
Corey Close just said Chuck, and that is for Chuck Gonzalez, who is hearing all of it.
On my first glance, you could fully understand their frustration.
Watkins pull up. Oh, that's rugged.
Again, though, she's going to her right. She's working in single coverage, and that's where it's the next play mentality. And whether she was or wasn't, but keep you guys potentially still thinking about that last possession, and Juju got exactly where she wanted to on the floor.
Rice did that time. Rebound, Von Oelhoffen. She had that pass sized up the whole way and nailed it to Kennedy Smith. A dime.
Credit to USC in transition, but there's been too many times that UCLA has been back, but have just gotten lost on weak side players filling the lanes.
Up from Watkins on Betts, and we get a whistle down low. Betts took an extra step. She is frustrated, you can tell.
Because there's a feel that she's getting hacked across the arm. Let's take a look at this. So you got the forearm bar, and then, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I can understand this frustration. There's a level of physicality to play with, but she's getting hit, she's getting grabbed in certain parts, and on that play in particular, I do feel like there could have been maybe a couple fouls called.
She's shaking her head right now, but this is exactly what Allison reported on, right? What is your next step in that? Do you carry that frustration to the next possession, or don't you? Watkins roaming, drops it off Marshall. Extra pass, got two, down low for Akunwafo.
That interior passing is special. The chemistry that we've seen grow from USC this season, those are the type of things that have changed.
That was surgery right there. Barker on the drive. Reverse no. Rebound Betts. Lost it on the way through. Was not on the end line. Knocked around. Taken back by Barker for UCLA. And what do we have? A foul, I believe. It is two shots coming. Oh, got a foul earlier.
What you're seeing, though, take a look right here. Good drive by Barker. And not a ton of contact there, I'll say. But overall, USC's defense is swarming. And it's characteristic of how they've played all season long. And they'll freelance a little. Watkins in particular will leave hers. Others will to come and double. They have good instincts of understanding the type of ball pressure they want, but also shooting the gaps off the ball. And that's where I think it's different in what the Trojans are able to do because of their reads on the off-ball defenders.
Corey Close says, I've been watching, if I'm reading lips properly. That was part of the conversation.
Try not to read lips. I feel like it leads me in bad places.
I'm here for you. I got it. 12-point game for USC. UCLA has never led tonight. In a battle for the Big Ten title. Juju Watkins on the kick. Got it to the corner. That shot no good. Offensive rebound. Akunwafo, and she whistled it into the backcourt.
So there's give and take. That's an excellent offensive rebound. You love that from Akunwafo. She's done some great things, but possessions matter, and just continuing to make sure that you are valuing them and patient with your passing.
Just 4 turnovers so far for USC. Dugalich carving the lane. She was met by a double, and we get a foul. Watkins cannot believe it. That's 4 against USC. Neither coach is happy.
Look, I will say overall, this is a really, as you would anticipate, a really physical game. And both these teams, so much of what they do is dominance on the defensive side.
Oh, another slip from Jaquez. She has been awesome away from the ball.
Listen, out-of-bound under plays have been working for UCLA.
Watkins draws a whistle. I would venture to say, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, a physical game benefits USC tonight.
Yes. I think so. I think they've imposed their will. But what I will say to that capacity, too, and you're right, probably because a lot of what they do is a little bit more predicated on getting in the paint, on penetration, on drives, and they're a team that likes that type of contact. For UCLA, finding areas, though, that they can create three-point looks and potentially knock down three-point shots, I think is something to monitor, because that may change the dynamic of what happens here.
Watkins. No. Rebound Okunuwafo had it knocked away. It's on the end line or thereabouts. She picked it up off an ankle, lost it on the way up with the ball, and it's taken by UCLA. Barker, they double the post again and rip it free. Watkins probing. Now starts her move. And scores! That is absolutely lethal from Juju Watkins, who wants this to be her city.
She is strong, and her bag is deep. The pullback, the finish, she's got such great body control. And she knows exactly how to work those angles. And, yeah, she is locked in. You can see it in her face, see it in her eyes. I know Dugalich doesn't agree with this, but there's enough contact early on, and she had it on the gather. Already 19 points. And she's been doing it from everywhere, Jay. And she's also been really fluid in her reads. So she's looking to facilitate. She's made some really nice passes. But so much of it has been, she's getting to her right side, and that's what UCLA is going to stop.
That's a foul on Von Oelhoffen. At this moment, Sarah, it is 17-2 points off turnovers for USC. That is the third on Von Oelhoffen. So 3 on her, 3 on Iriafen, both for USC, 2 on Kennedy Smith, 2 on Rhea Marshall. That at some point becomes a critical mass for Lindsey Gottlieb.
Yeah, and that's the things you monitor. And again, both teams trying to exploit those differences. But you mentioned the points off turnovers. That's what USC does. That's a reason why, even though they're a team that doesn't take a lot of three-point shots, they don't necessarily always shoot the highest of efficiency, they will come at you in waves. They force nearly 20 opponent turnovers, and they're so good in then capitalizing at the other end.
That's why they've already won 2 road games against top 10 opponents this year. Heckel off the deflection under a minute to go first half. Dugalich, good defense, screen for Okunuwafo. Heckel, blocked away by Gardner, just absolutely smothered.
Heckel's lightning quick, and she can get downhill in a hurry, but this is good help side coming over from Gardner, and Dugalich staying with her, and that's where the size advantage of the Bruins needs to come into play, especially when it comes to some of the perimeter players trying to get in.
Juju on an island, 5 to shoot. She pulls, and got it! Some nights, 12 in Cardinal is unstoppable. Turnover, Bruins.
I put an asterisk on some. Juju is nice. I mean, she's so smooth in what she wants to do, and we say it so often. There is nothing you love more than a player that when the moment is biggest, they are ready to meet it.
Her family entrenched in this city. She decided to stay home to play college ball to help improve a program that felt something like a sleeping giant to her. 5, she tries to hook a pass. Howell couldn't come up with it. Arnisalo up ahead. That 3 won't go for Jaquez. UCLA had a chance, but the Bruins have trailed at the half now 3 times all year. Twice against USC, and it's the largest lead for the Trojans at 46-32.
They got some work to do, but there's a reason why you play 2 halves, and they're here at home, so some things to talk to as you head into the locker room.
Lindsey Gottlieb with Allison Williams.
She had the last time these 2 teams met. This means something to her, this battle for Los Angeles, battle for the Big Ten title, and also just to showcase who she is as a player, and she's doing just that through this first half.
And her team has done it early in both quarters so far. USC opened the first quarter 13-2. The second quarter 17-6. UCLA just cannot afford that here in the third quarter. Although USC has had substantial foul trouble. Iriafen with 3 fouls back on the floor gets 2 to open the third.
So she played less than 8 minutes. And think about the fact that USC was still able to maintain that type of lead. Now they go to her quick and early. We'll see how that dynamic may shift.
Just tremendous staggered substitutions from Lindsey Gottlieb to keep everybody available for this second half. That 3 is big for Dugalic.
And we're talking a lot about stopping Juju Watkins, what USC has done offensively. For UCLA, one is it's making shots, not just three-point looks, which they have not done, but hitting some layups, which they have put themselves in good positions that they've just not seen fall.
Iriafen has been cooling her jets, and now they're ready to go. UCLA, to your point, has missed 8 layups in the game.
And it's not just those missed layups. They've also not taken care of the ball in the manner that we typically see from them.
Oh, that's really deep and called for a travel. Allison Williams, what do you have?
Well, exactly what you guys are talking about, and talking to UCLA's Corey Close. She said that first half was about transition D and not taking care of the basketball. Their 11 turnovers led to the 17 points for USC. She said offensively, they're just out of sorts. They need to be more composed and collected. She said we need to start working together to get each other easier shots.
How do you do that?
Just that. They're a more experienced group. They're a more veteran team. They're playing here at home. And understanding that you still have a whole half ahead of you. A 15-point deficit is not one that you cannot overcome.
Rice, a pretty good look, and it's deflected out of bounds.
But there's been a lack of sharpness. And give credit to USC's defense. They have disrupted UCLA, but it's some of the unforced turnovers. It's the runouts. It's lack of recognition. They're, in many cases, back in transition defense, but just not identifying players and having some breakdowns.
London Jones sticks a jumper from the corner. She had 87 threes last year, a school record as a sophomore, and she could flip this game.
They need it. And three-point shooting can flip this game. But UCLA has got to come out with a little bit of confidence and swag. And this is a USC team that is filled with a lot of gritty players, and you need to see that in the same manner.
There's one of them, Van Olhoffen for 2. USC back-to-back years with 23-plus wins for the first time since those 2 titles in the 80s when they were the toast of the town. That's an absolute bone crusher of a screen. Jones has 5 quick ones. I mean, that was essentially like a tombstone from The Undertaker in WWE from Lauren Betts right there.
I'll take your words for it.
Yeah, it was rough. Watkins probing, kept it on a string somehow, denied the lane, tries to go up and has it taken away. Good defense from Betts. Dugalic, and it's a tangle down low and a foul called against Rhea Marshall. That's her 3rd.
Here's the screen you're talking about. Lauren Betts, excellent job at the angles and just setting it up. Teammates got to call that out because you are not kidding that Van Olhoffen got crushed on it, but that's part of what UCLA can do.
Another baseline inbound that leads to an open player in Jaquez, and she'll go to the foul line. What is happening on these baseline out of bounds?
Well, they're just well executed and run plays. And whether it's the lack of attention to detail by USC or UCLA just being patient through them. And that's typical to happen. But for UCLA, that's where they operate best offensively. And we have not seen that. And again, it goes hand in hand of very good pressuring USC defense, shooting the gaps, getting in passing lanes. However, for UCLA, the sharpness of their cutting, setting the angles, the type of screening, the type of off-ball activity, all of those things need to be at a higher level. And I think that's where there's been a little bit of drop-off there in the first half, and they got to get back up to that because that's where they get openings, especially when you're not getting the ball to Betts in the same frequency that you do in many occasions.
She only had 4 points in that first half.
And it's about touches.
Watkins down low. Iriafen is met and fouled.
And some of that, too, comes from the guards, the penetration, breaking up and penetrating the defense to open up the floor and allow those areas. But some of that, too, is on Lauren Best to put herself in scoring position. Comes through with the foul there with her arms over the top. And this is where USC, you mentioned it, Iriafen spent so much time on the bench. They're a big team. When they got players that are able to come in like Akunwafo, or what that looks like with Iriafen next to her, and we know Ray and Marshall, all of those things across the board with Watkins and with Smith, they've got size and length, and that's why they are so disruptive defensively.
And that's why they're projected to be a 1 seed. So is UCLA. Winner gets the Big Ten title. If you're just joining us, Kiki Rice blitzes to the rim, 2 and a foul, and the crowd is lively again.
What you need to see from Kiki Rice. Ride with her here. She just does a nice job in turning the corner. And Smith's trying to evade some of those screens. There was a stagger initially trying to be set. Rice just blows by, using her speed. Kiki Rice is a player. She's so good on the defensive end and how she's able to navigate offensively through ball screens, handle the ball, orchestrate the offense. But I'd love to see her as well be more assertive and aggressive, looking for her own shot and looking to get herself to that mid-range into the basket.
She was a tremendous soccer player growing up, and in soccer you learn angles, and you can see that history. 2 state titles as a soccer player in the DMV.
And
chance of defense going up.
A lot of soccer players that play basketball are excellent defensively too. You know how to move your feet.
Watkins calling for it. She's got it. The double shown. We'll see if it comes. She'll duck around the Akunwafo screen. It's a long 2, and it's good.
That's a tough shot by Watkins. UCLA continues to go under screens, but what they did want to do is have her go left, and she did it and still knocks it down.
Rice, rugged, fouled. 2 free throws for Kiki Rice, who took 11 free throw attempts in the first meeting. And you can see why.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Get to the basket, get downhill. She's able to initiate contact, embrace some of that contact. It's a big aspect of what will open things up. She's a player that has gravity, but for that first half, UCLA was really trying to get it into Betts. The game plan for USC did a good job of sending 2 at her, so if Rice can start to open some things up, then hopefully that could potentially move the defense around enough that you can once again get Betts more involved.
Kiki Rice has just created the 4th foul on Talia von Oelhoffen, who has shot it well in the game so far. So that's a piece in the backcourt for USC that's off now, with Heckel and Howell in the backcourt. 4 fouls already in the quarter against USC, and we'll see if UCLA, playing the long game, gets the jackpot from that later. Out of the double, Iriafen on the skip for Howell. Iriafen moving without the ball, got herself a foul line jumper, rebound Akunwafo. Watkins on Hackett, step back. No, good defense from Hackett.
Excellent. That know your personnel, the game plan defense, still come out for the contest, but she was making sure to force Juju to her left side, and it made it a tougher look.
At what point do we see the real damage from this foul trouble, if at all? Now UCLA is putting some game pressure on. They're within 10, now to 9. Jones got an opening and missed it. With the spread like it is, Lindsay Gottlieb has some leeway with her substitution pad. Starts her move. That's tipped. Auer lost it. Here comes Jones. She has Hawkins. Jones pull up. No good. Rebound out of bounds. It will stay with UCLA.
I like that shot from Jones, though. You're on the push. It's 2-on-2. Don't necessarily have a numbers advantage. Try and put up a 3-point shot as UCLA is trying to get back into this one.
That's the water polo. Hello championship. Bring your own trophy night here in the boxing ring.
Both of these teams are going to put pressure on you. They like contact, they like to hit, they want to make sure you feel them, and that's exactly what we have seen. And whether it's been on the inside and post-play, penetration, driving, on the perimeter, all of it, full court pressure. And that's, we know what is at stake. We've said it over and over again, and you see how that bears out in the compete level of these players.
Allison was listening in the USC huddle. Allison?
Well, Coach Gottlieb telling her team when UCLA has a ball, they are jamming it down our throats. Do not let them do that to us. We need to have good help side defense, and then when they do get the stops, get out and run with good spacing in transition. I know fouls are becoming a bit of a concern, but she told them, don't let them bully us. Don't foul, but don't let them bully us.
We will watch that help side defense when they are on that end of the floor. USC created a lot of the rugged play in the first half, and it's flipped here, Sarah.
Yeah, and that's what you would anticipate, though, with both of these teams, the level that they play at, and just a response that you wanted to see from the Bruins, and I think they're starting to show that. But this is going to be a pivotal couple minutes here as they close out the third quarter.
Rainbow, no dice. Rebound, Hawkins. Rice, sharp cut down the lane, and she is fouled. Boy, she was looking for that tunnel even before she received that ball.
I love this. I love how Kiki Rice came out of the half. She's looking to get downhill, get to the basket. She's finding those windows in areas, and a big part of how she's generated offense has been getting to the line. She's made just 2 field goals, but this is going to be her 6th and 7th attempts at the line, and that's where there has been somewhat of a balance here for UCLA. They're not shooting the 3 at the same volume or efficiency as USC has, and you look at the discrepancy in shots because of USC forcing turnovers, because of some of the offensive rebounding, but where UCLA has found extra opportunities has been at the free throw line.
Where Kiki Rice has not missed since the USC game the first time around. She's 26 for 26.
Jinx.
I did it after she made a shot.
Man.
Snarky Sarah.
Keep an eye out.
It's a 7-point game, down to 4 minutes here in the third. Miriam Fenn down the lane, travel, no basket. The game pressure is building for UCLA.
And you could feel it. And this is where, similarly, we're going back to that last meeting, and much because it was just 2 weeks ago, but this is where UCLA made a bit of a run, and they cut into things, and they made it a tight game down the stretch till those final few minutes of the fourth.
And USC went away late in the game at Galen Center. Hawkins wrestles it through. Betts is very deep and scores for 2. It's a 5-point game.
And that from Betts, she's so strong and she's got such good touch. She's got to just anticipate the contact, not worried about any fouls, any hits, and focus on those finishes. And that's what we didn't see in that first half.
Out of bounds off of UCLA. It'll stay with the Trojans. Gardner comes back in. Jones exits, but how big has London Jones been in this third quarter for UCLA?
Huge, and it's not just about making some shots, but it's the pace and tempo that she was forcing UCLA to play at. That's exactly what Allison was talking about, Lindsey Gottlieb saying during the timeout.
Juju trying to be the fixer. She misses. Hawkins saw her in the rear view. Gardner out of the double team. Does regather. This was a 16-point lead early in the third. Rice on the refeed for Betts. And a foul against USC once again. That's 3 on Watkins.
So you look at your entire starting unit, and at minimum all have 3. Van Olhoffen has 4. And you asked this question, I think rhetorically, but it does, and how does this maybe add up? What I will say is the Trojans have depth, and their reserves have come in and been really solid. But it is something that you have to continue to monitor. It may be less so about concern of being on the floor or fouling out, but does it take you down just a notch where you're being a little bit more tentative in what you're doing, whether it's defensively, the type of pressure that they've shown, how that's forced turnovers, or how aggressive you are offensively. And that's where, if it changes the composition of some of those movements that you're making and how you're trying to play, you got to see and watch how that may factor in.
Missed by Rice. She's fleeced on the way up. We will have a tie-up. It'll stay with UCLA. And now a scrum in the corner. Rugby was on directly before this game, and it spilled over to Pauly. That is going to make both Millers thrilled. How about that? Reggie and Cheryl Miller, two greats for these two programs, applauding the energy, the effort, the care factor.
They are not the only one. You got the entire building here on their feet at Pauly Pavilion.
What a scene this is. Malia Samuels defending Rice here. She didn't play very much at all. Gardner got open. She missed it for three. Rebound Samuels. Feed Watkins. She's on the hop. Juju gets mugged. 2 free throws coming on a hard foul.
On the push, Juju Watkins, it's tough to slow her down when she's got a ton of momentum. You see Kiki Rice getting off her feet. And making sure she knew she was going to foul here because she was already up and over the body, but making sure that didn't turn into an and one.
You mentioned so many players in this rivalry from this area. Juju Watkins, her family has this deep connection to Watts south of here, and the slogan basically became the family slogan, don't move, improve. Improve your setting, improve your community. And Juju Watkins wanted to do that with USC and stay home for that reason as she misses the free throw. Little did she know that half of the city, at least represented here in blue, would be working against her improvement.
This is what it's all about. It is the beauty of basketball, the beauty of sports, the beauty of rivalries.
She missed both. What a game. Beck's in the high post. She wants it back. She won't take the shot. Rice has been the navigator. A dance step from Rice into a step back three. Rebound Trojans. They dodged one there.
Building was ready to explode if that went through.
4 minutes without a field goal for USC, without a point.
And that's the difference maker, right? A USC team that so much of what they do is on the defensive end and generating offense out of their defense, and they've stagnated some. It's allowed UCLA to put themselves in striking distance with this one, and that's going to be important. And we talk about how teams have started quarters, but how things finish here in the third is going to be just as impactful.
The chanting air ball, which is officially poking the bear for Juju Watkins. Samuels, what a tough drive. Her last points were February 5th. You never know who the hero is going to be in a game like this. Ugalich on Iriefet. Wraparound pass, nobody home. Gardner the turnover. Watkins on the gas pedal. She nearly traveled. Iriefet. Oh my! So it's just muscle.
Arnisella makes an excellent play in transition. How tough is it to slow down Watkins? Does that, but when forcing a miss, you've got to come up with those rebounds if you're UCLA.
We got a foul, I believe, against Kennedy Smith here for USC, and that's her fourth. 4 on Smith, 4 on Von Olhoff, and 3 on Watkins and Marshall and Iriefet. But credit Kiki Iriefet for playing this entire third quarter when she's been in without fouling. It's about to become a full screen graphic of foul trouble. It's a lot of problems as Barker goes to the foul line.
Part of it is they give you 5 for a reason. This is a team that plays physical, and so there's a balance to that. And again, I'm going to circle back. In some ways, less about the foul-out nature, more about how much does it ultimately alter how you play and that type of pressure and toughness that you're playing with because you're concerned for it.
Watkins steps through a double and met by Barker. She smoked it, and we get a whistle. Boy, that was a late whistle.
She got hit. Can we talk about the fact she just stepped her way through a double team? Yeah, Barker gets her with the body after the fact.
It is a foul. It was just either a late whistle or an inaudible whistle because of the cascade of boos and cheering combined.
I also think on her gather, her 1-2 step. I'm still impressed with her ability to be able to manipulate through 2 defenders trying to trap her.
This is an outstanding foul shooter that has missed now 3 in a row here in the 3rd quarter. That's not exactly the Trojan slogan that the Bear has the sign for. It's a variation on a theme. Free throw good. It's a 5-0 run for USC and a much needed one. Samuels has done a very nice job on Rice. Iriafen steps in front. Kiki Iriafen, 7 points in the 3rd quarter. Another step through. Juju Watkins riding down the lane. That was surgery again by 12.
Turnovers are going to get you because USC will come at you in transition. Juju Watkins just bulldozes through. Look at that footwork. Ooh, pretty. A little bit tighter, whether it's on doubles being more locked in, showing that type of pressure. It's USC that's in some foul trouble. And just because UCLA is missing shots, they can't allow that to factor into how they're playing on the defensive end. I feel like that's happened a handful too many times.
30 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Here's Gardner. Drew Hawkes, who's been very important in this comeback, and we get a whistle on the drive and a turnover. UCLA, it's a 3-second.
I keep saying it, like, give credit to USC's defense because UCLA is disjointed on offense. They haven't had good rhythm, good flow, and I think a big part of that has been what the Trojans have been doing to them, but we just haven't seen the consistency of them getting the quality of looks that they're used to.
Iriafen taking matters into her own hands after not playing much in the first half with foul trouble. Rice picks up the dribble. Gardner's got to shoot. She didn't know it, and USC has taken UCLA and moved the Bruins out of sorts again late in this 3rd quarter. Well, we do know that this state knows how to party in the city of LA. We'll keep it rocking next. Our game summary sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. +7 in the turnovers tonight for USC. +18 in the season series. It was 20-9 in the first meeting. It's 15-8 tonight. Points off turnovers are basically the entire lead and then some.
It's not, I mean, 23-4. Creating 23 points off of mistakes by UCLA, and that's tough to swallow. And you're looking at a player in Lauren Betts, who we know the presence she has, the dominance she could be on the inside. She has just 7 shots, and so it's not even about necessarily misses, which the Bruins had missed some layups, especially in that first half, but it's getting the ball to the places of the floor you want to, and doing so with forcefulness, and they just have not. It has been USC that's imposed their will for most of this game.
And they've created 5 turnovers from Lauren Betts so far tonight with 10 minutes to go. Big Ten title hanging in the balance. Samuels tees it up and missed it right. Rebound for Rice.
And there's plenty of time left in this game, but you got to see a little bit more sharpness.
Like that.
Like that. Those are the, whether it's the balance and spread on the floor, whether it's the entry passes, the screening, deep seals, work done before a catch. That's what the Bruins do, and that's what they need to get back to.
Rhea Marshall has hit a couple of those tonight for USC. Rice trying to bruise down the back door. Samuels has played great defensive minutes. That shot won't fall. It's a rebound for Marshall again. Samuels, the track star in high school. I mean, you talk about 12 minutes a game, not a whole lot of runs. 6 minutes last time out. She's been huge. Iria Fenn bulldozing through, no whistle, and she's got 2 on a reverse.
Patience at the end of her dribble. She avoids Betts being able to get a hand on that one because she goes reverse on the opposite side of the basket. I keep saying there's a confidence that this USC team has had out of the gates, and whether it was coming off that win or just in general how they've been coming together and playing, their chemistry has built night by night.
Rice sinks 2. USC has played tonight like they felt like when they walked in the building they were going to win the game. It's on the floor. Samuels rescues it. Watkins to Howell in the corner. Catch and shoot. Ring it up. The freshman from Boise, her first make. She has been so important from 3 for this team. That's too much. Rebound, Iria Fenn, who has played like herself and then some in the second half. Howell again. Oh, man! Avery Howell, sharpshooter to the stars, has 6 in a row.
I think that's as big as we've seen Watkins smile tonight. Get into the hot hand. Howell, an important piece of opening up the floor. USC has shot the ball from 3 really well. That was a component we talked about early on.
That's too strong. A rebound, out of bounds.
USC has been pouring it on. Push and transition, Howell, same spot, same result. Yeah, line it up, and that's what she does. It goes back to transition defense for UCLA has not been there, and just understanding where to pick up players early, and they've gotten the looks they've wanted.
Betts trying to clear and road grade, and she gets fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. It's on Marshall. That's her 4th. Everybody's kind of like Wile E. Coyote at the edge of the cliff, right? Fingertips on the edge, hoping the Acme rope stays connected. Betts got the first. Think about UCLA's season. A 23-game win streak. 22 straight double-figure wins at one point. They have 1 loss all year. They could have a second, and they'd both be against the same team that happens to inhabit the same city. 10-second call, turnover. With under 7 to go, it's got to start now for the Bruins.
It's got to start now, and for USC, they just have not allowed that. Even when UCLA cut it as close as 5, was it? It was USC that continued to dictate the tempo and the pace, and it's this end of the floor where they've started it at.
Rice did not get the bounce, and Iria Fenn snares the rebound and goes streaking down the floor. She wants to do this herself. Iria Fenn possessed. Got it! That is unreal belief. She could have gotten quintuple teamed if she was taking that shot. Jones, good.
And for UCLA, Jones, we talked about this early coming up. There's still 6 minutes left in this game. Score aside, this too comes down to a matter of pride, a matter of what you're building at this point of the season, how you want to play, how you want to perform. And so you need to see that sense of urgency and sense of life.
Are you going to the Big Ten tournament? Are you going to the NCAA tournament? That is just smoked by Betts.
Exactly plays like that.
Yes.
Because that's what she does. Lauren Betts is 5th in the country in blocks per game.
Oh, Watkins, who had 8 of them last time, is going to savor that.
Coming over the top, and so is Juju Watkins. Yeah, stop and stare. You earned that, Juju.
I thought Brian Biederman, our director, was choosing the cameras, but it's actually Juju Watkins selecting the cameras tonight.
They're both the best in the business.
She's better at blocking shots. She got 2 in a row. And listening to Lindsay Gottlieb talk about Juju Watkins defensively, she was talking to Beth Burns, her longtime assistant, and Beth kept saying as they were watching tape, are you going to drill that play? You going to make that happen defensively in drills? The answer is no. Juju just does it herself and plays by her instincts as Gottlieb tells her to.
That's the word, though.
Dugalich. No, that stays alive off the backboard. OkRu and Wafo lost it out of bounds.
And you're starting to see that filter, and it has, through how USC plays and the freedom that Lindsay Gottlieb entrusts them with of playing with instincts. Yes, you have a game plan, but a lot of these players, Juju Watkins being one, is just extremely talented, a smart basketball mind, and has those instincts. And so a lot of those plays, some of those blocks, some of that is freelancing.
And that's why they have had such success. As Von Oelhoffen fouls out of this ball game, it's an off-the-ball foul on an inbound play, so they lose one of the players who steers this offense with 5:11 to go. To your point, Sarah, Kiki Iriafen talked about that she comes from Stanford, which was a very buttoned-up offense, and has had some more creative freedom as Jones can't hit. Iriafen just fangs out, grabs the rebound. Watkins, step aside 3. Oh, she wanted the intercept there. She was watching Gardner's eyes.
And that was a smart play by Gardner, because too often tonight UCLA has telegraphed those passes, and it's led to 2 the other way.
Jones missed it. USC trying to take some air out of the balloon. Iriafen has been a star in the second half. Twisting again, this time she misses, and the rebound out of bounds to the Bruins. The trophy is in attendance. 2 competitors from Los Angeles are as well. Can USC put away a Big Ten title? Behind that, in their own family, and it is such a connected family unit, and they have to be so unbelievably proud of their daughter and friend and cousin and sister.
She shows up, she shows out, and she does so in such a consistent way. It has been impressive to every aspect of the game she has impacted. As Juju goes, that's how USC goes, and you saw that from the get-go of how she was able to set the tone. Same thing could be said the last time that these 2 met, and they knocked off UCLA when they were 23-0, and once again, you see it here tonight. And the confidence is overflowing, but I think so much of it begins with her.
She's our steady performance, sponsored by PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. Gardner, no. That's a compliment, by the way, brilliantly boring since 1865.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't call you brilliant.
I don't need you to call me that, but it may be true.
No, it's not.
It may be accurate.
It's not about you. Here's Samuels with USC up by 17. What a performance so far tonight for the Trojans. They're going to try and put this thing away and win a Big Ten title. They double her, and they hit ahead for Rice. It's a race, and Watkins gets over there at least to get a hand in and come up the works, and it will be USC basketball. You know, we talked about Juju Watkins' family and her grandfather and her great-grandfather as community organizers and participants and trying to build something that's sustainable in Watts and beyond in the Los Angeles area. And it really is interesting what sports can do. She's doing it in her own way, with her own touchstone, with her own sport and avenue. But it's the same idea that has grown for generations in her family. And now she and her teammates are doing it together to draw attention to not only a school and a city, but a sport that deserves it in so many ways.
Yeah, and you said this too, just remembering the foundation that has been laid, you know, and just what USC has been able to do. So many players, we're talking about Cheryl Miller sitting right here, but have come before, Tina Thompson and Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie and all the rest. And that's what it's all about, building on that foundation. And you see where the game is at, and the game is in good hands, to say the least, across the board. But that's all a part of it for the program. And you know, and Juju Watkins being a huge part of that, but for Lindsey Gottlieb as well. You know, USC now 25+ wins in consecutive seasons. That's the first time since Linda Sharp was the head coach back in 82, 83, 83, 84. That's when they were national champions both of those years. So it is fun to continue to watch and see what that means and what that means for all of these individuals, the alums, the fans, and the young future hoopers that are watching and aspiring to be.
And there are plenty of them here once again. I mean, it's exponential growth when you have somebody like Caitlin Clark, but then you pass the torch in terms of college scoring numbers to somebody like Juju Watkins. And it is so fitting that we have Cheryl Miller here in attendance tonight and Ann Myers-Drysdale, a tremendous ambassador for the game of college basketball. And there are generations watching this that I think, I mean, you had a marvelous career at DePaul, and for you to see what this game has become, just this specific one for a Big Ten title, it is a powerful thing as we get a foul on Hawkins. And Lindsey Gottlieb, as an aside here, we've had USC at some different interesting way stations this year. You know, we had the game at Connecticut. Lindsey talked about going to Gino Auriemma's camp and getting to know him as she was growing up in the game. And then she keeps her team on the floor at Iowa for the Caitlin Clark jersey retirement. And it seems very fitting that USC, on this journey they've been on, with a nod to history at every step, has put together such a complete performance in a big night as Watkins misses. Rebound from Marshall, and they will reload.
And the fun of the parity of basketball right now in the game, the other teams out there, what things look like as we get set to start to head into the postseason. You think about not only conference and league tournaments, but NCAA tournaments. So I know that USC has had a good grasp on this one and how they've handled UCLA and sweeping also the season series, but you better not be counting out the Bruins in any capacity if you're a fan, because there's a long season to go and a lot of resiliency and response for all of these teams that have the fun of March ahead.
UCLA's average margin in their games this year is plus 22 and change. They are not a good, not a great, but a spectacular team. The SC folks are playing call and answer at Pauley Pavilion right now, and they will get all of the marrow out of them. This may not be the last time these two teams see each other this year.
Very true, very true. Could come sooner than we expect.
Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. There are a couple of opportunities for this thing to not be the end of the line for this series. But they're not thinking about that right now in the USC section. They're thinking about exactly how long they're going to be up to. And the answer is question mark. Free throw good for Watkins. interior gets 2 more. Sarah, when you walked in this building tonight, what'd you think? About the crowd, about the atmosphere, as a connoisseur of this game.
It does not get any better than this. Poly Pavilion, Los Angeles, you owe me nothing. This was extraordinary in everything you could ask for. If you're a fan of the Bruins, obviously you wish the outcome was different, but everything about this game and this environment was all you could hope for and more.
Juju Watkins says, "Mine, thank you." She's got time for a high five on the way down.
I was so backside after Cheryl wound up on that one.
I mean, that is awesome.
Oh, sweet Cheryl smacked her. What a performance.
She is so serious and so stoic, and then one footfall outside the boundary of the court, and suddenly it's pure joy. Timeout UCLA with under a minute to go. Well, 2 legends, when they get together, you never know. Juju Watkins, Cheryl Miller.
Let's just get a closer look. Mom?
5 immersive worlds. One amazing theme park. Our universe will never be the same.
Oh, you gotta see this.
Epic Universe, only at Universal Orlando Resort.
Juju Watkins has been sterling once again, and credit for teammates. The bench for USC has been dynamic. Malia Samuel's defense, but you know, I don't know, maybe the start right now is Cheryl Miller. Cheryl says, "Reggie, look at the camera. Show your face." So good.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And you said it, Juju set the tone, but the entirety of that USC Trojans team, starting with the game plan and beginning on the defensive end of the floor against an elite UCLA group.
Ball still live and out of bounds it goes. This will be UCLA basketball. Wow, if this doesn't get you excited for the postseason, Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, I don't know what will, but you're talking about 2 1 seeds here, and I wouldn't imagine UCLA is going to lose that standing, depending on obviously what happens in the Big Ten tournament. But the Bruins, they've lost once, and they're going to have lost twice, and it's going to be to the same team that happens to be their rival.
And sometimes things happen. One, that rivalry, those emotions, that matters, and what that meant and means to both teams, but clearly to the USC Trojans. And also sometimes matchups matter, differences in game plans and how teams come at you, and teams just have another's number. And we've seen that thus far in a very small sample size here in these 2 games this season.
Look no further than Ryan Day and his last 365 days to tell you that a rivalry isn't everything in your season. Timeout USC, 30-second timeout. When Michigan beat Ohio State again in college football, it was electric in the wrong way in talk radio town in Columbus. You lose to your rival, there is major stink. There are recruiting ramifications as well. However, this is a long game for both of these teams as we go into the postseason. And we said it, but they might play twice more. And then what? You know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times, 4 times.
That's why we play the game.
That's right.
That's the beauty of the season and the postseason and what things look like, and just the longevity of a group coming together and how it comes together in terms of chemistry. And this USC team, they're a young team as well. They've got some veteran presence and some other transfers, but they've got a lot of young players that play valuable minutes. And then you look at the UCLA side of things, and they're a very experienced, composed team. And so there's the other aspect of it, of what they're going to be accustomed to doing and preparing and approaching the postseason.
Credit to Lindsey Gottlieb as well for an unbelievable job of substituting through foul trouble tonight. Jones on the drive. She's got 2. USC never trailed tonight. On the way to staking claim to Los Angeles and the Big Ten. The Trojans, 80-67, take the Big Ten title in a sweep over UCLA.
A dominant performance by the Trojans, starting at the defensive end of the floor and engineered by Juju Watkins. Complete team effort in how they played, but it was Juju Watkins setting the tone early and all throughout, both ends of the floor. And it's not just about the production and the numbers, it's the leadership value, it's the mentality, and that was infused to everyone else on her team. Watch out. USC, yeah, they've owned Los Angeles so far this season.
And they will go into the Big Ten tournament as scary of a team as you have in college basketball. 80-67, the celebration is on.